Hi, this is the second in the series of videos I'm doing on back pain and how we can work with back pain at home. So in my first video, I talked a lot about how there's many different reasons for back pain. And so in each video, I'm just going through a set of explorations that you can make on your own to start to diagnose for yourself what might be happening and might be contributing to my back pain here. So in our first video, we talked about the hips and how the muscles around the posterior hip can contribute to back pain. Today, we're going to stay with the pelvis and the hips, but we're going to talk about them in a slightly different way. Okay, so sometimes your pelvis and hip bones are not exactly square and straight, and this can happen for many reasons. So sometimes so if my thumbs were your sitting bones and these fingers up here are kind of the crest of your hip bones, they can be rotated to the right or rotated to the left, or you can have an upslip of one pelvis, and somebody might have even told you, hey, you have two different leg lengths, and it's very rare to have two different leg lengths. You can have that. Most of the times it is these muscles pulling the bones out of alignment that's causing the issue. So how does that cause back pain? Well, if you are constantly in a rotated state and you've lived that way for 10, 20 years and this feels like the center to you because you've adjusted and adapted to it, every movement you make in that sort of rotation can cause inflammation to build up in the joints of your back, which can cause then pain several years down the road. So today we're going to talk about rotations, and this can happen for many reasons. So maybe you fell as a kid and hit a sit bone, maybe you hurt your foot as a kid, or you sprained an ankle and walking on the foot in a certain way caused pain, and then that created this spiraling in through your body so that you didn't put weight in that area that caused pain. Right? Your body's so adaptable, so it really doesn't take any time at all for your body to readjust the way it's oriented and create a new center. So in this episode of the back pain, we're going to try to really figure out where the center is of your pelvis and how then we can retrain the brain and retrain the muscles to hold ourselves differently and then invite a different way of being in our body. Okay, so you're going to first come down onto the floor. And you're going to be laying on your back. And your knees are going to be bent. And you want to start building some awareness here in your pelvis. And you want to think, where is the weight of my body in my pelvis? Meaning, which side of my pelvis has more pressure? And maybe which side doesn't have as much pressure? So for me, I have a little bit of a rotation to the right, and it feels like this left hip is lighter. It even feels like it's coming up off the floor a little bit more than the right side. And so yours could be totally different. It's really individual to what you feel. And as I do that, I'm just going to move this a little bit so you can see me better. And so as I do that, I'm going to diagnose which side feels heavier, and I'm just going to put a little bit of extra weight in that left hip so that I feel, okay, the pressure is balanced. And when I do that, I can even feel a stretch happening up in my upper back a little bit here, and that's good. So what I want to do is I want to keep this orientation of my pelvis, and then I'm just going to add some movement. Okay, so I'm just going to do some pelvic tilt. So I'm going to rock my pelvis forward, still trying to keep that orientation, and then rock my pelvis backward. And I'm really trying to keep more weight in that left side. And if you notice, I took my hands to my pelvis here because your hands just have a better sensation of an awareness. So I might not have great awareness here in my pelvis. So this just adds a little extra, like, okay, yes, I am keeping it in the same orientation. I'm not going back to my habit, which is to rotate to the right. And if I wasn't thinking, I have like much bigger motion, but I'm still probably rotated to the right slightly. So I need to slow it down and keep that left hip heavy. And that's where I can really feel on this left side a nice stretch when I flatten my low back and I tilt my pelvis backward. Feels very, very nice. It feels very like a deep in within my body stretch. So this isn't about, oh, can I get to the biggest range of motion or making this an exercise. If you have that kind of ambitious mind, you just want to put that aside and really cultivate curiosity about what it feels like and then moving in that way. And really remembering what your tendency is. So in my case, it's to put more weight on the right side of my pelvis, and I'm just trying to balance that as I move. Okay, and so once I've done that for a minute or two, I'm just gonna pause and I'm gonna feel, okay, what do I notice? Do I notice a change? Has the pressure in my pelvis changed? Okay. And then if you have a yoga block, I really like this for low back pain. We're going to slide this yoga block underneath our pelvis. And if you don't have a yoga block, you can stack just maybe 2 or 3 books on top of one another and use that as a yoga block. But I want the short end of the block to be sort of facing towards my face. And I want to slide this right underneath my sacrum. Now your sacrum is that triangle bone that's right at the base of your spine. So I'm laying this down on my pelvis. It's not on my spine. If you feel it on your spine, you're going to want to slide it down towards your feet a little bit. And so just allowing your pelvis to come down onto the block. And remember, I'm not on the wide part of the block. I'm placing my pelvis on the narrow end, right? And this alone can be a nice release for the sacrum. So if it feels really good, like a nice little stretch, you can stay there. Or you can take the feet wider than your knees and then let your knees drop in towards one another. And this for me right now today just feels like, oh, so good. And just a nice stretching happening in my joints right back where my sacrum, my spine, is meeting my pelvis. Okay, and so you're just going to hold that until you feel like either that's enough or maybe you just don't feel the stretch anymore, whatever it may be. And then, again, while I'm on the block, I'm just going to bring in curiosity, bring in that exploration. Okay, how does this feel? And I can straighten one leg. Just notice that. And then straighten the other. If you feel any kind of pain arise from this, you just want to move to something different because we want to be in a safe place, right? That's where your body's going to learn a different way of carrying itself. If it's stressed or in pain, because pain is stressful, it's not a great place for your brain to learn. Okay, so I can then explore, okay, bringing one knee in towards my chest and one knee out. And if you feel a real shift happen in your pelvis as you move your legs, that's good awareness. That's your body going into that protection and into old patterns. And you want to just feel the center and to feel that balanced movement. And if you can't keep it balanced with such big movements, then you're just going to do little movements, right? Remember, this is not exercise. It's not an ambitious act. It's an exploration. We're trying to understand what patterns have been so habituated in my body that I don't even know that I am rotating or I'm guarding here. So it's an exploration. So you can do all sorts of stuff and just play, right? So as long as it doesn't hurt, as long as you're moving slowly with good awareness, it's fine. And then I'm just going to come up off of the block, lay back down. And this is when you should really start to feel like, okay, I feel some changes here. And go back to that pressure. Where is the pressure in my pelvis, meaning my weight sinking down into the floor? How has it changed? Okay, so if that was really helpful for you, if you felt a big shift and a big change, or there was just this aha moment, oh, that's it, then you want to keep doing this and keep practicing this. And remember, just like in the first video, if you didn't really get much from this exercise, doesn't mean it was pointless. It means that we're still finding what was the driver of your back pain. And there can be just a lot of reasons. So I'm going to keep on making these videos, so stay tuned for more. Go ahead and like it if you like this video. Leave any comments if you notice any changes in your back pain in the comments below. Or if you have any questions for me, please send them my way. I'd be happy to help you out. All right, so have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.